All right, folks, so we're going to be going over the cheat sheet for the features of a function. So there's some very important things that you're going to need to know for this module, specifically domain and range. This is something you're going to see all the way up in IM3 and probably beyond IM3, so it's very important that you write this down. Actually, at school on the Promethean board, I have it big stickers on the Promethean board showing range and domain. So make sure you have that on your composition book. If you even have a little sticker to put on your computer for range and domain, it's very helpful because domain refers to the x-axis and then range refers to the y-axis. Okay, with that being said, let's go over some definitions. So we have function. And for every input x, there's only one single output y. And the big important thing to remember on this one is it's 1 to 1. Write down 1 to 1. Make sure you highlight it. And the whole concept of a function is, let's scroll down just a little bit, is there is this thing called the vertical line test. Vertical line test. Let me switch these around. Okay, the vertical line test proves that it is 1 to 1 because for every input x, so here's an x-axis and here's our y-axis. For every input x, there's only one output y. So if x equals 1, there's only one output y. When x equals 2, there's only one output y. That's why you have these vertical lines. So it says right here, if you draw a vertical line anywhere on the graph so that it hits the graph and more than one graph is not a function. So we need to make sure it is a function 1 to 1. So let's look over here. What about a parabola line outside? Okay, because parabolas or anything like that could be not a function. Okay, so if it's sideways, let's change the color really quick to red. Right here, how many times is this red line hitting this blue parabola? 1, 2. So it is not a function. It is not 1 to 1. So let's look down here, and it's saying which of these functions are a function. Which of these are a function? Let's draw our little vertical lines. Only crosses through the blue line once per vertical line. So this one is a function. Okay, what about this guy? Yep. No matter how many times I draw that vertical line, it is only crossing that blue line once. So it is a function. Okay, what about this guy? Function, function. Uh-oh. How many times are we crossing through that blue line right here? 3 times. 1, 2, 3. So when x equals, let's say, -1, how many times does it cross through the blue line? 1, 2, 3. So it is not 1 to 1, so not a function. Okay, we will continue to go over that, but just know the vertical line test and 1 to 1 is an important concept of function. Okay, let's move on to the next definition. Domain. Domain's super important. That's why we have it written right here. And domain is all possible input values or all possible values of x. And where do you look for this? On the x-axis. So let's say we have, let's call it a closed dot there, and then a closed dot here. All possible values of x. How far does this line go this way? Goes to 7. It's -7. X equals -7. And then how far does it go this way? To right here, to x equals 5. So what is our domain? Is -7 to 5. All right, not too bad. You look at the x-axis for the domain. Okay. Now, what's the definition of range? All possible values of y. All possible values of y. So we have to look to see where our y values are. So our lowest y value, it's right here, going all the way across at 1. So 1. And then where's our highest y value? Right here. Is 6. So 1 to 6. All right, so that is our range. And some of you guys are wondering, like, oh, how am I going to remember all these? the way I teach it, is what comes first in the alphabet, D or R? If you guys said D, you are correct. What comes first in the alphabet, X or Y? X. So domain is X, range is Y. D and X are the first in the alphabet, and R and Y are the second in the alphabet. All right? Now we talk about increasing. Increasing is when a graph, let me erase this stuff right here. And I'm going to draw a new little graphic line. Erase that. All right, so I'm going to draw a new line. I'm going to start right here. Going to have some increasing right here. Then it's going to go across right here, and then we'll have some decreasing to right here. I'm going to make both those solid dots for now. All right. So where on this graph, we always read, like if we're reading a paper, we read from left to right. Just like we do a graph, we read from left to right. So you start right here. Let me change the color. Make it a little bit bigger. Okay, so you start right here and you read this way. So where does this line start? Right here. And of course I drew my line right on top of the numbers. Okay, so this line starts right here at -8. And do you see how we're going up? How if you're climbing a hill, you're going up? Where do we stop going up? Right here. So where are we increasing? From -8 to -4. And look, increasing. When the y value increases as the x value increases. So the y value, here's our y's, going up as x is going this way. Okay, where do we look? Our x-axis, because we have to label 8 to -4, -8 to -4, because we only look at the x values. All right? Where are we decreasing? Well, we're decreasing from right here to right here. And again, you only look at the x values. So here's 1 and here's 5. So we're decreasing from 1 to 5. Okay, decreasing is right here. Where do we look? Our x value, x-axis. Okay, what about constant? When the y value does not increase or decrease and the x values increase. So as x goes up, the y values don't go up or down. And that's in this section right here. So where, let's see, we're increasing, decreasing, and then our constant is going to be from -4 right here to 1. So from -4 to 1. Oh, I don't want to do it that way. I want to do 2, 1. All right, that's our constant. Our x-intercept, it's going to be a lot of erasing. Let's see. Oh, my eraser's working well right now. Hopefully I don't jinx it. I think I did. All right, so our x-intercept, we've heard that term before. We've heard y-intercept for sure. Our x-intercept is where the line crosses the x-axis. Okay, so here is our x-axis, and here is our y-axis. So our x-intercept is the point where the line or curve crosses the x-axis on the graph. Where do you look? The x-axis. So right here is where it crosses the x-axis. So it's at x and y, that's our ordered pair. X equals -4 and y equals 0. On our x-intercept, y will always equal 0. You just have to figure out your x value. Now where does we're looking at y-intercept. Y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. The y-axis, remember, is our vertical one. Okay, so this x is always equal to 0. So we look at our y-axis, and we're at 2. So our x-intercept was -4 and 0. And then our y-intercept is at 0, 2. Because remember, y is always 0 and x is always 0 on those two. Now our minimum maximum. Our minimum maximum, not too bad. Okay, so the largest or highest point. So think about it if you're on a roller coaster. Let me erase all this again. If you're on a roller coaster, what's the highest part of a roller coaster? The maximum part. So you go like this. Oh. Okay, and I'm going to draw a little line right there and a little line right there. Actually, we'll stop them. Okay. So our maximum point is the highest part of the roller coaster, which looks to be right here. So our maximum, where do you look on our y-axis? The highest point on our y-axis, so we need to write it down, is at x equals 0 and y equals 9. That's our maximum. Now where's our minimum point of this graph? We'll say it's right here at -9. So this is our max, and this is our minimum. And that is at 5, -9. All right, so that is just a little overview of what these definitions are. Please write these down in your composition book to make life a whole lot easier. Don't worry so much about the inequalities right now. We will come back to that. There will be a separate video on that once we introduce it. But we know that this is a lot to cover right now. So we just want you focusing on that top part. Again, if you have any questions, just email your instructor and we will help you out. Thanks for watching, guys.